I'll make the story short, but this was years ago when I was getting my MBA, and I remember I was doing a networking event, which I really don't like to do. People who listen to the show know that I'm much more of an introvert. Networking events are extremely painful for me. And I'm talking to this consultant, and he introduces himself to me as the pricing specialist for the tire industry. But he didn't say it like, hey, I'm the pricing specialist for the tire industry. And by the way, not a pricing specialist, the pricing specialist for the tire industry. But the way he said to me was almost this moment of awareness, like it just hit him. He reached out his hand and he said, I'm the pricing specialist for the tire industry. Like, how the heck did I get here? And he had this story, just like you were saying, he'd worked in banking a little bit after undergrad, didn't like it, went back and got an MBA, thought, I'll go into consulting. It'll be like a workplace buffet, and I'll get to try little things on the buffet, which it can be. But the first time you go through the buffet and as a consultant, you get whatever's left over because they just kind of assign you something, right? You're the junior person. And of course, he got tires, and he was great. And so the client wanted a follow-on engagement with him on it. And then 15 years later, he's the pricing specialist for the tire industry. So as you were telling us that kind of that pattern, made me immediately think of my tire pricing friend I bumped into some years ago. So when people come to you with these challenges and they are seeking permission, they're afraid they're not going to get what they want. They don't know what they want. Where do you start? What are some of the starting places that you help them unlock that position?
Well, I'm not sure when people are going to hear this, and it's, I'm sure it's evergreen, so it'll be for a while. But for our listeners, we're in the middle, potentially the middle. Some people think the end, but I'd say probably the middle of the Great Resignation, or some people coin it the Great Reshuffle. And it is a quitter's market. It is a candidate's market, which really lends some special, gives some special powers to people that are looking for a job right now, as well as it creates this atmosphere within, I think, the world. And I know you mentioned about being an introvert, but one-on-one conversations tend to be pretty okay for introverts. It's where people are wanting to have conversations with people, to build their network, to learn more, and to potentially create opportunities for themselves or to fill opportunities that they have. So it is right now is one of the best times to try to actually start building relationships around the values and the potential career that you want for yourself. But before we get into outreach, a lot of people that come to me are still a little unsure about what they want, because you would think if they knew what they wanted, they could then, and they were confident what they wanted, they would then take action towards it. So a lot of inaction doesn't actually come from, the fear that kind of I mentioned, or like it comes from the lack of clarity around who I am, what I stand for, and what I believe in, and what I want. And so the first thing that we tend to do when I'm working with professionals that want to make a switch, is really dive into their vision that they have for their professional life. And not many people sit down and say, this is what I want to be doing in 5 years. Now, you may not be doing that, because if I looked back 5 years in the past, I wouldn't tell you that I'll be where I was at today. Or 10 years, not even close. But I can start hinting at the type of lifestyle that I want. I can get close to the types of values and things that I might want to be doing with my time, or the impact that I want to have. And that vision is really important to then to then pull out those core values and then say, okay, so what goals could you accomplish in your career? What roles, what organizations would be a conduit for these values, for the things that you care about? Because then we can start building a list where they could focus. And not just that, we also can create kind of a little bit of a bio, an elevator speech for them to become more memorable to the people that they're meeting, to ensure that the opportunities that they want are going to be brought towards them instead of them having to always seek them out. So that clarity would be the first piece. And then when someone actually knows what they stand for, what they care about, where they want to go, and you can break that down even further to what types of things do you like doing at work, what energizes you, what de-energizes you, what type of skills do you want to learn, in terms of vertical and horizontal growth, then that becomes confidence. that level of clarity automatically just starts transforming into confidence. And that confidence, with, I guess, some skill learning, like, for example, I wanted to be an executive and leadership coach and work in this industry. I needed to go learn. Getting my doctorate brought me more confidence, right? Studying academic journals for hours a day, doing my own research. But when you have clarity and when you have confidence, that leads to action. And so if we hold ourselves accountable and we're intentional, we then can actually start controlling more of where we invest our time. Right? People tend to invest their time in things that don't matter because they don't know what they think matters and they don't believe they can actually accomplish it.